Welcome to Patty's Aquatics. So today what I want to do is something a little different. I want to give you guys an update of some of the things going on in my fish room right now. We'll go over some of those new fish that I brought in recently within the last couple months and show you how they're doing and how some of those plants are doing and some of the setups in general. And then two, I have some new fish coming in this week, which I'm super excited for. So I got to do prepping on that tank to get that ready. And then lastly, I want to show you my puffer tank, that 75 gallon that I started the food web on and I added all those plants for, and show you how the progress is going with that. But to start off this video and the updates, let's start with the rainbow shiner tank back here and I'll show you how they're doing. So the rainbow shiners, they're actually doing very well. They're very skittish, so they like to hide a lot whenever I open up that lid to feed them, but they're eating very good. They are growing, but they are very young yet, so those colors have not come in on them obviously yet. They still look very brown, but it was to be expected. I know after they get a little older, more mature, those colors will really start to pop out on them, and I'm really excited for that because I'm really excited to be able to try to breed these guys. And really when those colors pop in, I mean, I think that'll be ecstatic in this tank with these greens from the plant. So that's that tank. Let's pop down to the one below now. And then in here is the white cloud minnows that I got from the Fox Valley Fish Fair and those red really shrimp. This tank is doing pretty well. If you can tell, there's a little bit of a green tint to it. I had a little bit of an algae bloom in this tank. I didn't have a lot of plants in here to begin with when I had those angelfish, and when I put that bigger shop light on there, it kind of overpowered it, but I put a lot more stem plants in here, and it's starting to clear up and look better. As far as the white cloud minnows, I have seen them go in kind of like breeding mode, where I see them acting with the male and female within the algae that I have in here or that Java moss. So I'm hoping to find babies in here one of these days. The shrimp, they're doing great. I see a bunch of them everywhere all the time. A few bigger females that I believe are already buried. So super excited for both these species to start breeding as well in this tank. And I'm really happy with how the plants are starting to take off. So next, let's go up to my other 29, which houses my hyphen blue coral varieties. And in this one, well, it's more of a hot mess in here with all this hair algae everywhere. The fish are doing great. The plants in the tank, I'm not so happy about right now. I plan on doing an overhaul in this tank in the near future. See, the problem of it is, if you look at this tank very thoroughly, there really is no stem plants in here, nothing fast growing. That dorsad has really never taken off in the back. It comes up some in the front, but it's not like crazy. And this huge Anubias plant just grows and covers the light a lot. And then these big pieces of wood here are just attracted to the algae. So I plan on redoing this tank a little bit, not like drastically. I want to take that wood out of there and get all the algae out. I want to take this big Anubias plant and trim it into smaller pieces and divide it within my tanks. Then I want to get more stem plants to be able to put in here and kind of thickly plant it more with fast growing stem plants to kind of outcompete that algae. So that's the plan for it long term with this. I don't know when I plan on doing it, but I don't mind algae. I really don't. It doesn't bother me, but when it gets that thick, I'm due to pull some out of there, which I'll do in a little while, but it just becomes a hassle to constantly have to pull that algae out. But, you know, it's all natural type of stuff. It's a plant. You know, I'm fine with that. Anyway, moving on to this tank. This is my empty tank where I'll be getting new fish for. Now, I don't want to tell you what I'm getting or where I'm getting them from, but let's just say I'm super excited who I'm buying these fish from. It's another popular YouTuber from down in the Florida area, and the fish I'm getting are rarer. So I'm excited for that. But what I want to do to prep this for my new fish, well, I'll show you. It's over here. I want to get my resurrection jars ready. I have 4 of them ready, and I want to add one of them to there now. So it's got about a week to really sit and bask before fish get in there. Now, to take a closer look, this is the jar I plan on adding. It is thick with little microorganisms everywhere. So I'm going to take this jar and add it to that tank right now. So I've been observing these jars for just about 30 days. I've seen nothing bad in this one the entire time. A few of my other jars have some larvae in it that obviously are going to turn into some type of flying insect, so I'm not going to take those out yet. I'll give those like another week or so. But this is ready, so I'm going to pour completely into this tank. Start of the food web, baby. I'll just kind of spread it out a little bit. Perfect. So after that settles a little bit, I'll show you what it looks like. But other than that, now it's set up and ready for new fish. Well, as that all settles, let me show you around a little bit more at some of the tanks. Now, we can head right to this one. This is the video you should have seen just last week. That's my cheap and easy plant and fish breeding setup. Everything's doing great in here. Since it's only been about a week since this has been set up, so nothing really much to report here. The fish are still alive and doing good, and the plants are still thriving. And I can't wait for them to really grow in, because I probably wind up using a lot of these in that high fin blue coral varieties tank that I said I'm going to be doing. And then we can work ourselves up to here. It's my 20-gallon long with the Taiwanese orange-green double sword guppies. Not really much to report here. Tank is still doing fabulously. Fish are still phenomenal. And I actually have a video shot for this one, which you might be seeing in the next week or so, with a tank tour update and kind of show you the back history of this tank, because this was my first started tank. And then we can move on over here to my 10-gallon. That's a shared tank with my daughter with the beta in here. And no, like I said in numerous videos, these are not my little decorations, but the fish are. Now that is an angel fish, the one and only one I ever got to survive from breeding from those silverveil angels that I have. And then this is also a breeding little experiment I have going in here. I have a male of those Taiwanese guppies from the previous tank, and I had an orange female from a previous batch that I had, and bred them together. And some of them look pretty cool. I kept some of them. I sold some of them off at a local swap meet back in February, but I'm going to keep breeding these and see if I can get a few males that I really like. Maybe I can get a line going with them. And then we can move over to the swordtail tank. Nothing's changed here. Everything's still doing good. I have a couple of the females in back that are getting really big, so they must be pregnant again. And I seem to have a lot of males in this tank, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I want to get some more of these to kind of help the line for breeding down the road, and possibly just get some more females to kind of add in. Other than that, now we can move over to my, I don't know what size tank this is, but it's my mixed guppies, my hexagon tank. And as you can notice, I have green water. I have a algae bloom in this tank. Popped up about a week and a half ago out of nowhere, which is strange, because if you look at the bottom, it's clear. You get to the top, it's cloudy with that green water. I don't know why. Plants are growing in just as normal very well in this tank, but for some reason that popped up. But my plan for this tank is the same as basically I seen in a father fish video just recently. Do nothing, just let it. It will right itself. So that's what I plan on doing. So that's that tank. Everything's doing good except for that algae bloom, but you know what? Green water really doesn't hurt anything. Now we can move on to my puffer tank. And I have mixed reviews on it. It's doing fabulously with the plants in the food web. I'm not going to lie there. But that dreaded old cyanobacteria is back. So what am I going to do with that? Well, I've already added medication into it last time, if you go back and watch one of my old videos. Got rid of it at that point, but it's back. So is there really a point of adding meds to this tank? I'm going to say no, there's not. So I'm going to try to get rid of it naturally. I also have some algae within the plants, which I have to kind of get out of there. Every week or so, I kind of just take a handful and just pull it off. But it has gotten better. It's not as bad as it has been, so I'll give it that. But the plants are growing very well since I planted them in, and that food web is doing very well as well. I put those 2 jars in there if you go back and watch that old video. And all the organic material that was in those jars were eaten away within about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So I've been adding these leaves into there. So I want to add more today. I want to stir this up a little bit and kind of bury it in the sand and put some more leaf litter that I have some soaking with to put in here. Then I'm going to pull some of that out of there. And then that's all we're going to do with it today. We're just going to let it. I'm going to let it just keep naturally letting the food web and everything go with it and watch this stuff hopefully disappear on its own. All right, time to stick our hands in here a little bit. And if you are curious, I did do some water testing just to see, because I have heard that cyanobacteria can be more of a, because of higher nitrates. Well, my nitrates are only at about 10 parts per million. So that is not the case. Flow-wise, I thought I had it figured out with that wave maker I have in here. But apparently not. I mean, it could just be, you know, I have an overabundance of nutrients in the water with all this leaf litter in here. But, you know, it will balance itself out. I say that a lot in a lot of my videos. I really, truly believe that is the case, that it will balance itself out. So I got that buried a little bit. Let me try pulling some of this stuff out of here. Now, this algae's consistency has really changed. It used to be very hair-like, and it looks hair-like here if you can't see it, but it's very slimy. Like, I wonder if this is almost a form of the cyanobacteria. I really don't know. It comes off pretty easy. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just take my siphon and suck it all out into a bucket. Then I just take my net and get all the algae out from it and then pour the water back into my aquarium. So essentially I'm not doing a water change, but I'm getting all the algae crud out of there. And I may just have to do that because this stuff is going everywhere. But I'll do that after I get off camera here. So yeah, it comes off real easy. So like I said, I don't know if this is cyanobacteria or if this is a form of hair algae. But I have noticed that the structure of this algae is almost like broken down. It's almost like, I don't know how to describe it other than it's like gooier. So that's that. Let me throw a little bit of leaf litter in here yet. All right, so I always have a few leaves soaking in another container so they're ready when I want to put them in. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to kind of place them. It's got some hair algae on it of all things, of course. I'm going to try to place them over where that cyanobacteria was and kind of cover it. See if that does anything. I do remember back when I did my cyanobacteria video, someone in the comments said putting leaves over it helped solve it for them. So we'll try it. Well, that's the leaves added, and like I said, I'm very happy with the food web process that's been happening here in this tank. And I'm also really happy with the plant growth that's really come off in the last couple weeks. And, you know, algae, like I said in numerous times in other videos, it really doesn't bother me. I just don't like it all over the leaves because I don't want it to hurt the plant growth. But that being said, we'll see how the cyanobacteria goes. I'll keep you updated on that. Puff Daddy's still doing great. And in my opinion, I'm really loving the way this tank is looking. And then lastly, we have the pond. Really not much to report here. I have the angelfish in here from those other tanks. I have seen that pair breeding here a few times, but they eat them like always. Goldfish are doing good. Pond lilies down there will be going outside in the next month or so once I set up my outdoor summer tubs. Peace lilies are doing great and growing big. I actually got a flower started on this one. So let's go back and look at that tank I put that resurrection jar in and see if the water settled yet. Well, don't look too bad. It's only been about 10 minutes. I did see a few little things swimming around earlier when I was looking in here before. So very excited for this and the new fish, like I said. So make sure you stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't. Well, that was a quick update of my fish room, and I hope you enjoyed it. All those fish are doing great. I can't wait for them to start breeding. Like I said, I've got new fish coming. I'm super excited to show you guys and share with you who I'm getting them from and what I'm getting. Like I said, I'll keep you updated with that cyanobacteria. I'll let you know how that's going and if the natural way will really get rid of it instead of using those antibiotics. And then too, like I said, I've got more resurrection jars I want to add to some tanks, and I'll be getting some more on top of that. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so, but make sure you hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss any of those upcoming videos. That being said, always remember to think outside the box and take a step back into nature. I hope to see you next time here at Patty's Aquatics.